A woman who nearly got away with stealing almost $2 million from Sky City Casino in Hamilton, where she used to work, has been sent to jail. Alarm bells only started ringing when Tessa Grant was arrested for stealing just under $800,000 from her new workplace, Waikato Diocesan School for Girls. The 41-year-old who stole and defrauded her employer to feed an obsession with all things equestrian was today sentenced to 7 years and 8 months in jail. Our Waikato reporter Andrew McRae was at the Hamilton District Court.
Tessa Grant worked at the casino as its finance and then general manager before going to the school as its commercial manager. She had the trust of her employers, but the Crown Prosecutor Ross Douch says it turned out to be a massive breach of that trust.
Businesses like Sky City necessarily entrust their employees with their finances and are entitled to expect the highest levels of integrity in return.
At Sky City, Grant used 66 company cheques to get about $1.6 million. The other $300,000 came from mainly cash withdrawals. At the school, she falsified invoices, forged minutes and withdrew money, all for personal gain. Ross Douch says Grant portrayed herself as being independently wealthy and was someone who wanted to become big in the equestrian world. But all she proved was she had expensive tastes.
She paid $282,000 for a horse truck when she was employed at Sky City, and while she was at Diocesan she'd signed up to buy another one to a total value of about $485,000, with the obvious expectation that continued defalcation from the school would pay for that excess on her part.
Mr Douch claimed Grant showed no remorse apart from getting caught, and he reminded the judge of just how blatant her offending was.
On a single day, this defendant took $120,000 cash out of the Sky City reserves for her own purposes.
Grant's lawyer, Guy Foley, says his client is abjectly remorseful.
Perceived need, I think I've set it out in my written submissions, became greed. Mr Douch hasn't used that word, but I have, because it clearly on the summaries of facts and on the offending did become greed, and that was wrong. And that's why this woman must go to prison.
Sky City Casino began investigating Grant's time at the company after hearing she'd been charged with fraud at Waikato Diocesan School. Erica Jenkins is Sky's General Manager for Audit and Risk. She told the court that Grant had an intimate understanding of all its financial systems and processes.
This also meant that Miss Grant was able to abuse her position of trust to get around Sky City's system, and sadly this is what she did.
Judge Philip Connell described Grant's offending as sophisticated, and he also questioned her remorse.
That isn't demonstrated on the documentation I've had, and not demonstrated in documents that I would have thought you had an opportunity to express that in a sincere way. Largely you have sought to minimise and justify your offending.
Judge Connell jailed Grant for 7 years and 8 months and set a minimum period in prison of half that time. I kirikiri roa for Checkpoint, ko Andrew McRae tēnei.